Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 5 in the Hanamonogatari reaction series, closing up this arc today. Very excited to do so, of course. Just with the little caveat that it's, 6 p.m. right now because I got off work late. So we're going to do this here now, the reaction portion of it, and then we're going to come back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's a public holiday. Boop, boop, boop. Roll through and we're going to have a little bit of a look again at the episode, so yeah, be wary about that. I may forget some things, or I'll try not to, but that's the way the cookie crumbled today, unfortunately, which is a little bit disappointing. But at least I got to watch the episode now, so good with all that, I think. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the YouTube comments before I just ramble my way out of a paper bag. So first comment here today from Kochin. Thumbnail is so much better. I think Kochin said that, and I think Nailu said that too. Yeah. First, I wanted to mention that the thumbnail's way better, more clickable. I love it when they're more clickable. I like people clicking on my videos, so that's good, and they're very actually easy to do. I have this thing where I'm always go, oh that's too hard. That'll be too hard, and then I do it, and it's so easy. so I just need to be more confident with that kind of stuff and give some of this stuff an actual go. Like, just sometimes don't get into the routine of just doing the same thing over and over again, and just switch it up and see if you like it better. I think I could improve that way. I think, yeah. Next comment here from Gian Bueno, and it's a longer one, but I'm gonna try to give it its time considering I don't really have that many comments this week. How many in total? Probably like 10 or so, including replies. So yeah, not that many. In the novel, Kambaru says that dunking feels like cheating, but later corrects herself to feel like it's like a last resort. So I had to rethink about this, and yeah, in professional NBA basketball, of course, dunking isn't cheating, right? Everybody can dunk, or even if you can't dunk, you got something else up your sleeve, right? You got some other element to your game that can maybe stop that, or something like that, right? If you're a high school girl in Japan, not a notoriously tall country either, if you can dunk and all the other girls just can't, then yeah, I can kind of see where she's coming from there upon a rethink of that scenario. From here until the end, quite a few things were left out of the book, even some major for the understanding of Namachi's character. So at the end of the season, I'll try adding some of that info. Interesting. I'll kind of see if I can notice something missing. Maybe that's another reason why the adaptation isn't particularly well regarded, even though I'm really enjoying it at the moment. Again, kind of the lament of the source material reader rings through many series, of course, just leaving out things that you think are really important. One minor thing that John mentions right now is the hair color. So I didn't really notice it because, anime characters have weird hair colors all the time. Think of Senjo Gahara's hair. It's like purple. Like, oh, okay, they're an anime character, right? Makes sense. But here in particular, Namachi Roka's hair color is important, dyeing it a light brown, and that's very frowned upon inside Japanese schools. And Kambaru sees that and goes, "Oh shit, she's kind of fucked up. That's weird." And it kind of indicates to the reader that Namachi Roka doesn't have much left to lose if she's, dyeing her hair like this, right? Nobody in their right mind would do that. Therefore, somebody not in their right mind may do something like this. Just makes sense. A little bit of added context, which is always fun. And yeah, the only hint we get for this in the anime is during the opening where we see her original hair color before what happened. I guess you could call this a correction with the next point. So there's the other Roka goal, Hanamori or something. I forget from last week, but I had some little theories around it being an extended metaphor for whatever happened to Namachi Roka, whether it be self-harm or anywhere else in between, right? And I was like, okay, maybe this is a metaphor for the transition between life and death, or something like that, right? But no, it turns out that I was just being Western and dumb. It turns out that the Rokas are spelt entirely differently, and it's explained in the source material, but not in the anime, of course. So that's led me a little bit astray, but that's okay. Swing and a miss, as we like to say. Hanadori is her name. Hanadori Roka means blossom on the high tower, and Namachi's means wax flower, so not even remotely the same, not at all. Kaiki's involvement in the arc regarding Namachi's not obsession with her legs, but her prowess, her talent there being very important to her, Kaiki not liking irreplaceable things, the loss of these two irreplaceable things, think Guy and Toy as well, and And yeah, it starts to make a lot of sense. I'm also thinking Guy and Toe is a big part of the arc that is still left unresolved. We don't have any further clarity there regarding what her overall thing was. I don't think we're going to get much of that, though. I'm thinking that whatever, however it pertains to Kambaru, will need to be addressed in this episode. I think that's something that they've set up. Think about the first scenes of the arc, and that still needs to be talked about. So keeping an eye out for that, of course. And the last point here, we're bringing up Namachi's way of stealing devils from others. I'm probably here. I just kind of accepted it. But as Gian Bueno goes into it, there could be more than meets the eye here about the logistics of devils and how they actually work in what we have going on, and tricking the devil per se into actually accepting Namachi Roka's demands, if that makes any sense. Like, kind of tricking it into helping her in a way. Which, is pretty smart and kind of works with the rest of the lore, what we know about devils from the rest of the show, as well as other aberrations. And just a bit of trivia here, Namachi also takes the crown for the longest monologue in the series. Her story goes on for about 20% of the book. No one else even gets close. That is a very, very long part of a novel that it felt long in the anime. It was probably 30 minutes of talking, maybe. Maybe a little bit less than that. But yeah, it was quite long, and it is important for the arc. But I can understand how it may get a little bit long in the tooth for somebody that's looking for something a little bit more immediate with a character that we already know. This is actually quite interesting as well. Hot Wheels Kid here, despite their depiction in the anime and official art and blah 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 blah, based on depictions in the book, the only characters without black hair are Shinobu and Roka. Even Yotsugi's hair is black, so all the designs are dramatized. Even illustration is unreliable. Laughing out loud. Yeah, interesting one there. Kind of, it's like the animeification of what we have going on that isn't really present in the text, which is cool. But again, it's a light novel. There's a visual element to it. I don't know, interesting one. Food for thought, I think. Then a little bit of back and forth here about, is Ononoki's hair actually black or is it not? Or should we trust the illustrations in the book or the text in the book itself? Or I don't know. It's up to you guys. I don't know. Her hair's blue to me. Or green. I don't know. I'm bad with colors. Either way, next comment here by Neilu. I've already talked about the thumbnails, and honestly in love with the stark contrast we see between Araragi and Koi and Araragi and Hana. Yeah, this really got me thinking when I read this comment come through. I'm like, yeah, he does seem really fucking annoying in Koi. He seems like a little kid, and now he seems so much older, even though, barely a few months have passed since that time? Something about the hair is it's not sitting right with me still, but we're gonna try to get past it. Yeah, very very interesting and kind of leans into a lot of our kind of perspective talk we've had during this arc overall. Additionally, I think that adults in general in Monogatari portrayed as mysterious but wise, and now Araragi has graduated in the eyes of somebody like a Kambaru. Maybe he is taking on the form of somebody like that. That's why I kind of said, taking the role of Oshino. He felt a lot like Oshino to me in the scene, but maybe that's just how older people seem in the Monogatari universe, depending on perspective, of course. That's very interesting. I like that too. Some additional stuff here from Kochin as well. Agree with you on everything I said in the video. I don't know about everything, but sure. Episode 3 is very slow, but serves episode 4. So again, if you guys are talking to other people watching the show, get them to watch these two together. It's very, very important and really increased my enjoyment of both episodes overall. I was pretty underwhelmed by just 3, but after 4, I was pretty gassed on the whole thing. I thought it was really good. Benjamin Lee adding a few more points on Gian Bueno's comment from before. So Namachi Roka's name, Namachi meaning swamp or wetlands in general, thus poisonous swamp as we heard earlier in the arc. It echoes the idea of if you can't be a cure, be poison from the start, while being neither of them. Swamp being water that's neither toxic nor drinkable, similar to how misery collections are not harmful to others, but also coming from noble intentions. This is getting pretty deep. I like this a lot. Diving into the weeds of the language and pulling out some stuff like this. This is great. This is what like multiple rewatches does to a motherfucker. I like it. That's really impressive. I think that's cool. Furthermore, goes into Roka meaning wax flower is also quite thought provoking, perhaps symbolizing the preservation of the appearance of life even after death. So just the facsimile of something that used to be real. Yeah, true. Okay. And flowers are it's all called Hanamonogatari. Think about it. Come on, we're going in the deep end here. Also, potentially a juxtaposition to the mummified devil parts. You know, like a wax part of your own body, right, would be similar to these kind of devil appendages as well. That just makes sense. Yeah, we're getting very English student here. I like this, and not English as in like learning English. English as in like textual analysis and theories and why the metaphors do the thing with the people in the place. And yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. And last comment here from Hearthstone. Thumbs up, great analysis, good job. I like these. I like when people think I'm on point. I thought I was on point towards the end there with a lot of the Araragi stuff and why Araragi showing up makes sense. That I was really happy with that portion of the video. I thought I nailed it. Not to toot my own horn too much, but yeah, it's nice when I'm editing the video and I'm like, damn man, that makes sense. You're onto something here. Just a small little recap before we jump into a few little predictions and then the episode itself, of course. Kambaru continues to listen to Numachi Roka's backstory as she gets more into the process of collecting devils, kind of going into Hanadori Roka as well as her kind of musings with Kaiki, I guess you would say, as well as another couple things as well, which there was some art style changes there. It was pretty good. Numachi Roka leaves the hall after fulfilling her end of the bargain with Kambaru, thus just kind of finishing the conversation, telling her the rest of the story. And we're left with an ending that is a net good. And this is what I really emphasized last week and why having Araragi there is important, right? Like, if you're not satisfied with it, then that's a party that's not satisfied with it, and you should do something about it because character agency and human agency in your own life is important, and just leaving things as they are when you really don't feel good about them, especially when something as important as this whole devil business on your arm is at stake, you should do something about it. It's less of a look at equity overall between everybody and more of a look at the personal, and I think that's important for a character like Kambaru. Of course, the net good of the situation is emphasized even more when Karen calls Kambaru back with the information that Numachi Roka committed suicide 3 years ago. So what we've been talking to is a ghost, so we don't even need to think about the human component of it. She's just doing a good thing for people overall, and we can just let her be. But is she happy with it? Are we satisfied with that overall? I don't think we are. This causes some reflection from Kambaru, and she goes for a run. It's absolutely gorgeous. She runs for a great long time. There's a little bit of kind of internal thoughts there. The music's killer. Yeah, just a great scene. And she runs so damn far and collapses in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Kambaru is then found by none other than Araragi himself and taken back to town in his car, which is a very garish yellow, kind of smallish car, kind of like a hatchback. And yeah, he gives some advice along the way. Of course, oversimplification. I think it's some really damn good advice that I went into last week. So if we're to talk overall predictions for this week, I think we're going to solve the conflict. That's a pretty easy one. So we're going to reunite with Numachi Roka at some point and talk her head off a little bit. I'm thinking something akin to Kaiki in Koi with an Odeko. So there's going to be a conversation there, almost trying to talk her down from what she's doing. I think there's a lot of Guy and Toei stuff we still need to talk about. Why is she an overall presence in what we have going on? Or is that some context that filters in later that makes all this make a lot more sense? Are we going to see any other characters here? Or is it going to be a one-on-one job again? Is it just going to simply be more conversations between those two characters? Totally could be. I don't pretend to know what our solution to this problem is either. I really can't think of how we're going to convince her other than, I don't know, maybe there'll be some subversive Yuri stuff here where it'll get a little bit ridiculous. Kind of like how in Koi, Kaiki just randomly goes, "You don't want to be a mangaka, do you?" And that's kind of like a weird, almost non sequitur, leading us down a direction that wasn't already visible to us. And maybe we're going to see something similar here. So therefore, impossible to predict. I think I'm just going to jump in. Honestly, I don't have much else to say other than I really want to finish this and have a little bit of a chat about it tomorrow. So I guess sure stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, request things on the Discord, talk about lots of different things on the Discord. Anything you want, basically. I don't know. I'm open for business on Discord. As weird as that may sound. Either way, jumping into episode 5 of Hanamonogatari right now. Rightio, got episode 5 of Hanamonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up there. 27 minutes and 13 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture version provided in the description below, as well as using the Call Girl subs for this one, so use that subset if you care about that kind of thing. Either way, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio. 3, 2, 1. Go. Sakura petals. What's the next day? Okay, we got a package. Is this her coming home after her run? You would imagine so. I can't read that. Oh, Guyan gave this to me. Okay, what is it though? What's in the box? Ah, that would be the devil part of the head. And that's how in to talk to Namachi Roka again. Okay, makes a lot of sense. I just noticed a character down here as well. Has that always been there? Yeah, okay, her hair color's definitely different there. Definitely different there. If I can speak properly. With correct pronunciation. Still a killer opening. Last time we'll see it, unfortunately. The drums in this song are really good too. Makes me want to break out the draw pad and play some Osu. Whenever I hear cool drum lines, I'm like, oh, I'm back. I haven't played that game in ages. Not a lot of time anymore. Anyway. Okay, Saruga Devil, what do you have for me? Oh, okay, we missed a few days at school. But we're back. Huh. Are we doing a meeting? Okay. Okay, but Guyan had it, right? Of course he does, right? This is only natural. I don't think so. More likely, but still probably not. No, I don't think I will. Nice enough to come see me. Still in the same old basketball stadium, too. I mean, that is a possibility. Weird. It is. It's true. Yeah, it's personal. No, I will not avert my gaze. Gaze? They are gays for each other. Huh. Again, that kind of dichotomy. Blanket. Oh. Oh, kind of mirroring episode 3 again. You stop existing. Yeah, why would she agree? Yeah. Oh, okay. Is it like a sledgehammer, like a big old mallet? Okay, that's a better argument. Like challenging the sports person in a. Yeah. Devil basketball, it's time. Yeah, and you won't have anything. Are we going to see some dunking? I hope so. It's so obvious that we're going to do more basketball, right? I wonder why I didn't predict it. What's in it for you? That's the important part, isn't it? It's your well being. Yeah, the opposite of a net good, just a net bad. But no. Oh. No, but it's not out of spite, I don't think, right? No. No, the opposite. Hmm. Maybe they actually don't like each other. I mean, they were rivals, right? You're not supposed to like them. I could, but what does that mean? I think you're right, but what does that mean? Sure. Well, yeah, we knew that. Kinda. Hasn't been fun. Especially the whole tying it up of a morning, or of a night, I guess I should say. Yeah. The brains of the operation, baby. Come on and slam. So make it a short one. What is this? Are these more seats? What? Okay. Sure. This is me. We're going to remain seated the entire time. Starting to get a bit suspicious, are you? Yeah. That's what good sport is. Well, I mean, this actual existence of what's going on is nebulous. Heaven, huh? It's true. They go to the opposite of heaven. You don't know? Who has two pairs of shoes? Oh, look at the arm out. She's cool. Why are you nervous? Is that still about her not knowing she's dead? Yeah, okay. I see. Okay. Good. Some sixth sense type energy to it. Yeah, I guess I should have thought about this too. Hmm. Yeah. Well, it does make it a little bit more daunting for sure. Are you going to tell her? When are you going to tell her? Hmm. I mean, yeah, that's the subtext to it all for sure. Okay. The water's interesting too. Confirm that she's not me. Confirm I'm better. Did she put a shoe over the devil foot? What do you mean for real? Like dead ass 1v1? Oh, really? Okay. Weird that they'll call you rivals then. Or just the way the cookie crumbled in the tournament. Like they got knocked out before they could face each other. I like that we're getting a little bit more light too. Senjo Gahara-san. And you forgot you too. Yeah. It's how growing up works too. What do you mean? I didn't see that from that at all. I don't agree. But yourself's more important to mine. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'll need to talk about that. Oh, she's insane? She's doing like DBZ stuff. She just took a photo? The water's a great touch. Of course, water's been present throughout the arc. Great. Good stuff. That was a good shot, too. Get trolled. How's that fair? And now you're dunking, too? Nah, but she's better than that. Yeah. Okay. Get destroyed. Oh. Sparks are flying. Oh, the water has been drained as well. Yeah, was it cheating? Yeah, she would have just called it. Hmm. What do you mean by that? Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. You're more of a defensive player. You don't get in the chain of movement. Oh, this is very finalistic, isn't it? Why you close your eyes like that? Okay, the jump there was class. Okay. What else? She did close her eyes. I was like, oh, was that it? I guess that was it. Just kind of a 1v1. This feels all very quick, though. Hmm. Bro, this whole water theme, I'm just thinking like the first stuff in this arc as well, of like little Kambaru looking at the water too. Oh, damn, that's fucking tragic. Well, you did the right thing though, kind of, in a way. Okay. Huh. I never thought you did. Now, okay, a lot of this feels like it could have been expanded upon. I'm kind of feeling that comment a little bit now. Okay, so we're back with the nightmares. Okay. Yes. Okay. It's a conversation. In a way, yeah. I think both of you are right. Huh. Muddy water. Yeah. You're a little bit contradictory, for sure. Seems like you're on better terms there, though. Hello, Araragi. Oh, interesting place booked there. Okay. Okay. Pause. Yeah, put this guy in prison. I mean, he should die. Oh, it's time to clean your room. Okay, we're back. Okay, so she actually explained like full context, I guess. Oh, oh shucks. What? I thought you were just going to get rid of it. She would probably enjoy that. Okay, all right. One of those was not okay. I don't know. You'd be a better person to ask. He's like setting up dominoes too. That's good. Yeah, look at him go. Oh, whatever you say. Ah, what is this pose? Stop. What is the Empire State? Empire State Building? No. The oh my god, Statue of Liberty. So bad. You're not the thinker, bro. This is one strange, strange man. I thought he had grown up. I thought he was past this. Hmm. I like his weird jacket, like statue there. He's having a grand old time stacking up the books. Whatever you say. Well, the physics on these books is kind of mad. Yeah, that's what growing up is, by the way. Well, I mean, yeah. It's some pretty rough parenting if that's like good parenting, right? She did let you make your own choice. Okay, we're doing another haircut. I wouldn't let him cut anybody's hair. Look at his hair, it's terrible. Okay, we're getting back into it. Whose hair have you cut? I'm forgetting. Yeah, because it's a symbolism. Yeah, in your cool car. She's good at that. She'll be able to do that. don't know. There's lots of time to do lots of stuff. What was Augie doing, though? Why did Augie tell her about that? Weird. I wouldn't let the... Yeah, again, I wouldn't let him do anything like this. Oh, that was pretty, though. What do you mean? Okay, they'll have opinions on the ethics of the whole thing. Yeah. What matters is you. It's true. Sure. I'll trust you. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, again, I feel like we could have went longer there and really fleshed some things out a little bit more than we did. But it was good. It was, well paced. I think the basketball idea for the final conflict is a good one, of course. I'm going to have a big, long talk, or if I remember to, about water and the use of water in this arc in particular. I think it's really well done. Other than that, yeah, talking to Araragi there at the end was cool, but I don't know. I can't help but feel a little bit underwhelmed by the whole thing. But it was good still. I don't know. I really don't. I guess we really had that pop off moment. Like 4 is really the pop off moment of the arc, and then we're just kind of cleaning things up. It wasn't really anything super unexpected for me, outside of like Namachi not knowing that she was dead, but kind of knowing anyway. Again, all of that, it all happens very quickly. People learn information very quickly there, and I want to break down a little bit of that text as well. I don't know, what else can I say about the episode other than it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah, I think that'll do. And yeah, as I said before, I'll jump into this tomorrow because I'm hungry and I want to eat some dinner. And I don't want to record after dinner because I'll be in bed asleep because I'm very tired. But yeah, overall, enjoyed it. As I said in the ED there, kind of gave my final thoughts. But yeah, I'll talk about it in more detail tomorrow, I think, and I'll see you then. I'll say goodbye for now and see you on the other side, I guess. And we are back. It's 10 to 9 the next morning, and we're going to have a relook at the episode. I've written a few thoughts over here. Nothing's really changed overnight. Still feel about the same way as I did yesterday, but we're still going to go back through it and see if I can reevaluate some things and change my perspective potentially. I don't know. We'll see. But let's just start here. Kambaru receives Devil Head from Kaiki. I want to reread that little bit of text that was next to that as well. How Kaiki got into possession of this. That would be interesting for me to look at. And Kambaru then naturally uses it as a bargaining chip to meet with Numachi again and do that whole side of it. Because the question for me was, well, how is she going to find her again? This is just the perfect way to do it. As soon as that came up, a lot of the episode's structure became clear to me. So Kambaru meets Numachi back in the gym, and Kambaru kind of challenges her to a 1v1. The stakes being, hey, if you beat me in the 1v1, you can have this devil head, but if I beat you in the 1v1, then you give up this whole thing, you give up collecting devils, and you give up collecting misery. And both these are very important. However, during this process, and again, this is some oversimplification because this conversation takes up a good portion of the episode, in this process, Numachi or Kambaru learns that Numachi doesn't know that she's dead, but again, this was a little bit weird because towards the end it seemed like she did, but I don't know. Weird one. Maybe she comes to a realization. Okay, maybe. Kambaru then wins the 1v1 in a touching moment for the two as Namachi-Roka drifts away peacefully, leaving only the devil parts remaining. I think there was some dialogue like, I can't go to heaven, or the devil parts can't go to heaven, or devils don't go to heaven, something akin to that, and this is kind of reflecting that. Thought that was pretty clever. There was a happy-ish dream, kind of contrasting the nightmare that she had during the start of the season, arc, whatever we're calling it. It's with the mother again, and she's it's reframing a lot of the advice to be positive. I think there's some implication towards the end that there's some setup around leaving this devil arm with Kambaru, and that being a teaching mechanism for a younger person to be able to go and make their own mistakes, but still have a remedy around the corner. Something akin to that, I think. Like, again, if you take that last line of the arc in totality, then a lot of this season or Hanamonogatari, again, I'm struggling there, has been about growing up and what it means to grow up and the choices we make and what we choose to focus on and what we choose not to focus on and everything in between, right? Like, it's about agency. It's about making your own decisions. It's not about doing something that's considered the best in the circumstance. It's about making, like, you're your own person. You got to go and do it, and that's very important. I think that's a very good lesson. Either way, then Kambaru welcomes Araragi back into the house, and they do a little bit of cleaning as they do, and I think Araragi's just messing around making dominoes and stuff, but anyway, we talk about what we've learnt. Again, oversimplification. Araragi has some pretty sage wisdom there, I think. And then Kambaru gets a haircut, and it's a symbolism haircut, and we've done a lot of them in Monogatari, and it just makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to go back through and see if there's anything that I particularly missed, but don't think so. So this is Kambaru probably coming back the next morning, back into her house to find a package. Yes, a package. And here's a little bit of dialogue on the package. We know it's from Kaiki. Guyan gave me this. You don't have to pay me. Use it if you want. Throw it out if you want. Okay, again, putting the onus on her. I see. Okay. So this is still, like, Kaiki's actions here are very interesting, because think about it where it's supposed to be a novel order. This is a pretty ambiguous thing that he's done, but looking at it from an outside perspective, knowing all that we know now, this feels pretty charitable from him, right? Like, I had this in my possession. I didn't sell it to a Namachi-Roka because I thought that was maybe a bad idea. And I'm going to keep it, and then I trust you with it to make the right choice now, or to make a choice, whatever that choice may be. You can destroy it, you can throw it out, or you can use it however you want to use it. It's almost like Kaiki's been pulling some strings in the background somewhat. Interesting. Okay. I think this is a telling spot for the whole Kaiki characterization thing we have going on in this arc. And yeah, of course, it's a devil head in there, and that's our bargaining chip we're going to use to go and see Namachi-Roka. So we skip a few days at school, and we're through to the 20th of April. Potentially she's been mulling this over for a while, didn't want to execute on it immediately, thinking things through fully. I don't know. They left it in for a reason, so it's clearly important to the whole Kambaru thinking things through idea. I never thought I'd meet you again, Kambaru. The feeling I have is like remembering something I'd long forgotten just before falling asleep. Yeah, this line, it stuck out to me in the reaction as well. It's very specific. I don't know if I can particularly think of the feeling. I don't know if I've ever had it, but does this have some deeper meaning around not remembering that you're dead, maybe? Just before falling asleep, remembering something I'd long forgotten. Okay, that does make sense, actually. Falling asleep, akin to going to heaven. Alright. Either way, the meeting is taking place at the basketball stadium again. I want to talk about the water a little bit later, but we'll get to it. At a certain point, this meeting doesn't really take place in physical space. It's all very mental. So this location just makes a lot of sense. Namachi-Roka expresses her disdain at Kaiki for keeping this piece of the devil from her this entire time. He was running a con on me the whole time. You could see it that way. I see it a little bit more charitably, but I digress. Again, I think Kambaru here has a little bit less of a charitable view, that maybe he was keeping the piece, the very most important piece, until it had the most value right towards the end. I think that potentially that could be true as well, now thinking about it, considering his love for money. But apparently he could make more money selling it to a scientist anyway, so maybe not. Maybe he... Weird. Kaiki's weird, we know that. Namachiroka asks for the devil head and Kambaru just says no. Why? Why do you say no? I'm worried that you'll turn into a devil all yourself. Again, I think a lot of the arc is a lot more internal, right? It doesn't matter what Namachiroka wants, it matters what you want, right? And if you think this is best for her by proxy, thinking that this is a greater good by proxy, everything else, then you should do that. I think that's kind of the lesson, the moral of the arc. Because there's a layer to this that I'm missing, right? Which is like I didn't want to end up like Namachiroka, right? That I think I'm missing a lot of that level of the text right now. I'm wondering if that's missing completely from the adaptation, or I'm just like being blind. I don't know. Clarity there would be appreciated. If I had to find a reason, it's because I can't bear to look at you, right? It's not that I don't trust you with it. It's not that I think you're not powerful enough to process it, right? I just don't think it's the right thing to do. And simple as, Namachiroka quickly back with the answer, right? Then don't look at me. What are you doing looking at me then if it hurts you that much? You should just bury your head, you should just run away, you should just not engage with this conflict. And again, lesson of the arc, no, don't do that. Feel strongly about things, fight for things you believe in. Precisely because you're visible to me, I can't stand looking at you. And that's how most things in this world are, right? They're that way, they're that awful or that terrible that you can't stop looking at them, right? And that's why you want to change them. That's that passion deep down for things to maybe be better one day, right? Both good and evil come from not being able to look at it, from ignoring things or not ignoring things, agency, making decisions. And then we're like, hey, 1v1 me, essentially. And of course, this was stupid of me. I should have thought of this from the beginning. This is a very obvious way for this arc to end in basketball. It's been constant, basically, especially the location. Just makes sense. I don't understand this part, right? Namachiroka goes, so there's nothing in this for me. I can just take this from you right now. And then Kambaru's like, well, your winning means I won't smash this head with a hammer. I mean, where's she getting the hammer from? Is it just like a massive mallet? Is she going to be able to steal that from you in time? Again, she doesn't like physically exist, so there's no like actual physical stakes there. But you know what I mean? It's just a bit of a weird one. Like Namachiroka brings up the thing where she's like, well, but isn't it like devils like games and that kind of thing? Devils like tricks and that side of it. Maybe that's a little bit of that coming through. I don't know, weird one. I like this line a lot better, which is challenging the basketball player in Namachiroka, her kind of competitive spirit to a fight there. There's a thing in the scene of Kambaru's unshaking confidence in it as well. I think this is a lot of those few days maybe working up the kind of courage to come out here, right? Namachiroka says, well, I'm not going to hold back like last time. I'm going to use the full power of all the devil parts and well, Kambaru, throughout the whole thing, she's still like, I'm extremely confident that I'll win this. If Araragi was standing here, he'd think of some even bigger ruse. So this is a ruse, yeah? This is you projecting confidence rather than... Okay, is this a big part of what happens? That she's able to execute the dunk? I don't know, bit of self-belief in there? Bit of believing your own hype? Weird one. I'm saying weird one a lot, I'm gonna try to stop doing that. Another very important question from Namachiroka here. What's in it for you, Kambaru? Well, it's purely personal, right? It's purely that I don't think that this is ethically correct, and I want to see you better as well. There's that whole previous relationship with Namachiroka, or well, their rivalry, essentially, right? And, wanting... This is deep down what I want. It doesn't matter how I'm justifying how I want it. It's what I want. So there's a net negative for me, Namachiroka, and there's no benefit for you. It's the exact opposite of our net good conversation before. Then why are you doing this? If it from the outside looking in, this is a terrible, like, everybody equal, like, making sure, like, King Solomon type thing, right? Like, the world is worse off for Kambaru doing what she's doing now, technically. But she still wants to do it, so she does it, right? And the world would be better off if she did nothing. but she still wants to do something about it. I'm kind of a broken record, but you know what I'm saying, right? This is the point of what we have going on. It's a point of, and then matching that with being young versus the adults in Monogatari and that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. I actually really like it, and it's something I'd probably believe in a lot. So again, another point for Monogatari for teaching a good life lesson, IMO. This is a little bit weird too. So Namachi Roka goes, you know how no matter how the game ends, I can steal it from you by force, right? And then, well, yeah, you can, or well, wait, I don't think you're the kind of person that could do that. You're the kind of person that could steal, but you can't take it by force. I don't see the distinction there really. Like you could like theft something, but you wouldn't theft it from a person that's holding it right in front of you. There's a human element to it. A weird part here where we're tying Kambaru's exhibitionism to having to wear a bandage on her arm, right? And that being a living hell. There's something in that. It's very Monogatari. But yeah, I kind of see it. And then Namachi Roka does the rad thing where she like flexes out of her casts, which is kind of rad. I like that. I like the smoke coming in here. Could even be maybe steam, considering how kind of water theme. And it's all very shonen. It's a face-off. I'm not going to go easy on you this time. Kind of like it. I missed this part in the reaction. This is where Kambaru is essentially suggesting like the sudden death 1v1, where we have one go at it. I'm on offense, you're on defense. If I score, then I win. If you block the shot or steal the ball, then you win, essentially. Where I come from, running, this would be the 50-meter sprint. Where you come from, soccer, this would be the penalty shootout. It's sudden death, and they each have their own version of sudden death based on their initial sports. Namachi Roka worries that this will give her too much of an advantage, and then Kambaru still unshaking confidence. I wouldn't make these rules if I didn't think they favored me. And if both sides think they're in an advantage, then that's the perfect competition, right? That's when you get the most pure competition. Hey Namachi, do you want to go to heaven? Oh, that's a bit of a weird remark. Is that kind of a play on the word of my devil parts? If it is, then it really isn't funny. Devils don't go to heaven, of course. That's what ghosts do, and I'm not a ghost, am I? And initially, this is such a nonchalant line for it. I was like, oh, weird. And then Kambaru is like freaking out, and I'm like, oh, she's freaking out because, oh, I get it. And it's kind of a funny moment there. She's shaking in her boots a little bit there as well. Just pointing towards the shoes, getting her out of the room before she has a little think about what she's just learned. This is horrible, this is unexpected. Namachi Roka does not realize that she is dead. She does not understand that she is a ghost. She's not aware that she herself is an aberration collecting unhappiness. She's forgotten that she's killed herself. Yeah, lots of different things. So is it like a purposeful forgetting of this to cope with what has happened? And again, there's probably some aberration aspect to it as well, of the aberration wanting to stick around and collect these things, right? And then our water starts to seep in, right? And, it's been a huge theme the entire arc. Think about back to the opening scene. We see like little Kambaru looking out across the water when she's in her little nightmare there. We have, even in the opening, the rain starts falling when things are going south. Think about just kind of like dripping water. There was the pull during Namachi Roka talking with Kambaru that one time as well. There's kind of that circular motion of the water going down the sink, which I thought was very evocative as well. So here it's evoking a swamp, right, as well. There's that aspect to it, but also is it a water washing things away? Is it water purifying things? I don't know. There's lots of different ways you can take that. And yeah, that's a big part of what we have going on visually with the arc, I think. Namachi is so aloof, likes speaking in an enlightened way, and generally seems like a very strong character. But that in no way means that she would be able to accept her own death. Weird dialogue. I don't find that very necessary at all to be written out, but sure, go off, I guess, Monogatari. So I guess this is one last crisis of faith for Kambaru and all of this, trying to, like, now I'm going to have to tell somebody that's dead that they've died. That's another layer of stress on top of everything I'm about to do. I'm literally about to send somebody on their way to the afterlife, right? It's so cruel, but it's too late to stop. I decided I would do this because she's what I could have become. I feel like this needs to be expanded upon more. I don't really understand a lot of this, right? Again, there was some talk in the comments about cut content from this last segment of the story. Maybe this is what it's pertaining to. I feel like this idea itself is very interesting. I feel like it could be expanded upon a lot more. I want to beat a 1v1 against Machiroka. I want to confirm that she's not me. I want to be sure. And then, yeah, we're back. She pops some shoes on, and we're ready to fight. Yeah, again, a lot of the basketball dunkage here is metaphorical, right? A lot of this space isn't actually real. A lot of what we're seeing is a giant metaphor for something else. And I'm just wishing there was somebody here to explain it to me. I mean, I get portions of it, but overall, I feel like there's another level to this that I'm just not quite grasping. Weirdly enough, Namachiroka brings up that this is the first time the two have actually faced each other, despite being apparent rivals, which is strange. Like they never actually just played against each other, right? We have the roof opening here, kind of the light breaking through the scene, shining off the water. You know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? If the room was very dark, gloomy, smoky, foggy, right? We didn't really know what was going on there, and now we have water clearing away the fog and the sunlight shining down. Yeah, just, pretty obvious stuff that, hey, we're going to reach some happy climax here, something good's going to happen, right? Compared to how it was bad before when we were talking with Namachiroka. Just makes sense. But once you graduated middle school, you forgot all about me. You focused on Senjogahara. Yes, I forgot you. But I remembered. I'm also going to forget this soon. And then I'll remember again someday. Yeah, okay, there's something about growing up in this for sure. Like, things that seem important now are not really that important later on, but some other more important thing will come along, and then that won't be important, and that's just life. I think there's something in that. And yeah, this is very kind of thematic of the arc overall, very summary-esque. What do you think of the statement, better to do something and regret it than not to do it and regret it? I am firmly in camp A, and okay, so think about it logically. Option B is better. Not do it and regret it, right? If you don't do it and regret it, then the only person it's impacting is you. But you is important, That's who you have to live with for the rest of your life. Better to do something and regret it, right? That's external. That's everybody else now knows that you did something, and you may regret it for social standing reasons, or it may not have panned out the way you wanted, or something like that. But I'm very much so, like, if the internal me wanted to do something, then trust it. I think, yeah, and then that ties into a lot of Kambaru's stuff. Like, this is very important because it happens just before our basketball match starts. It's clearly, its placement in the episode is very obvious for mine, as kind of the main theme of the arc. The third party doesn't know of this taste of regret, right? It's all internal. And then Kambaru, the best thing to do is to, despite everything, the best thing to do is to do it and then not regret it, right? Because that's what I thought in the time, even if it doesn't pan out correctly. Again, kind of this unshaking confidence idea that Kambaru's projecting this scene as well. Interesting. Okay. And then we get our basketball 1v1 going. Namachiroka's got a bit of Goku going on. She's charging up. All right, and then this is interesting, right? You can't play basketball by yourself. So it's a team game. It's not a solo game. It's not a 1v1 game. You need to rely on your teammates, right? And then Kambaru passing her the ball and then collecting it again is all very important in that, right? Including her as part of the team, including that into oneself almost. And I like that. That was a pretty smick animation, especially compared to the stuff in episode 3, which I thought was a little bit wonky. I thought that was pretty good. And it looks like she may make the spoil, as we would say, but the block, I guess. I don't want to lose, neither do I. And then, yeah, I slam dunked. So bringing in the slam dunk idea from before as well. I thought you said you didn't like it. It's only as a last resort. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And then we bring in a lot of the Yuri subtext as well. Right here, when they're laughing, competition over. I've passed this barrier. I've won essentially. Now we're just going to talk things through. And all the water's gone, and it's back to normal. The status quo has been reachieved. Namachi argues that as soon as she had control of the ball, that it would be game over, but she still chased afterwards, so she must have still been engaging in the competition, which is kind of interesting. This is another nice touch, so you see the sunlight very obviously here, very heavenly, but it's also kind of that shimmer in the air above water as well. Yeah, it's, it's almost rainbow-esque. Like, after the rain, this is how we feel. My teammates never really passed me the ball, so it's weird that my opponent did, right? Kind of a reference to how much of the backstory can we buy there. She didn't really seem very fond of any of her teammates, thought that they were a little bit condescending. Yeah, this part's interesting too. So Namachi Rocco closes her eyes here, kind of just waits for maybe a kiss, and then Kambaru, very uncomfortable, does like 3 hops backwards to get away from it. And Kambaru laments that, hey, maybe she is cute, maybe I should have kissed her anyway. And we have like almost Disney-esque music playing now. It's all very dramatic, but I think they pull it off. I mean, it's literally the death of a character. They kind of need to lay it on pretty thick, especially after that kind of her presence in the arc being so much of her like dialogue, right? Having this kind of send off is natural. This part here also encouraging Kambaru to continue to pursue athletic kind of endeavors, I guess, which is something she does at the end of the arc as well. So she really took that to heart. Another important line here from Namachi, and kind of her last line, right, is that life has no timeouts. And for her, she knows that all too well. Her life did have a timeout. She unfortunately killed herself, right? Which is bad, which is terrible. And it's kind of that, if you want to continue living, there's no stopping living, right? Like I did. And then that's my last line. As soon as I accept that, then I'm off to heaven. There's something in that for sure. It's a very telling last line. And then, yeah, she's off to heaven. All we're left with here is the shoes, which is kind of funny, as well as, because the shoes didn't belong to her, and the devil parts, of course. And it turns out that they both envied each other the whole time in some way. Kambaru, she envies the way that Namachi Roka was able to hold off so many opponents at once, and then Namachi Roka is jealous of her team play and being able to play as a team and feel the team aspect of basketball. And yeah, I didn't hate Namachi, I was jealous of her. I didn't really think you thought much of Namachi until, you saw her again. But anyway, again, a lot of this feels like an incongruous line with the rest of what we saw. So I'm wondering if there's some cut stuff there. And that night I had a dream. And again, we see water. And this is kind of like it's got like a really like happy soundtrack in the back, but she's still saying like kind of weird things, the mother. So she kind of just like talks with her mother in her dreams. That's kind of what we're seeing, right? One day I will be grateful to my mother. One day I'll understand her feelings. But that day is not today and not anytime soon either. First, I need to outdo her or at least match her achievements. Okay, so a little bit of inspiration going forward. Interesting. Because, yeah, kind of Guy and Toys going off in the dream about whatever else, heady themes and stuff, and then Kambaru is very matter-of-fact about it. Now, this is a story about how I played basketball with an old acquaintance. However, despite it all, Kambaru feels that she won't ever feel the same as her mother. If you can't be a cure, be poison, otherwise then you're just straight-up water. Of course, that girl could be neither cure nor poison. She was muddy water. Yeah, there's something, there's more in this. I do think that if you can't be a cure, be poison. Again, a lot of the arc is very contradictory to different things, right? Don't be plain old water. Don't run away. Don't let life push you in whatever different directions, right? Take some agency in it. Make decisions, whether they be good or bad ones. Don't sit on the fence, Which is kind of mirroring a lot of the Hanakawa stuff from Nekoshiro as well, right? Which is don't be a people pleaser, be active in your own life, and make some choices. I think it's good morals. I really do. Despite it all, she still doesn't know if she's going to be a cure or poison, but she thinks that the idea is clear as mud, which is, the future is muddy. The future is not clear. But it's also, again, contradictory. Like, I'm clear in the fact that the future, or whatever the future holds for me, these decisions, I'm not going to know the answer. And then she says goodbye to her mother, opens her eyes, and Aragi's just standing over. And she's wearing no clothes, and there's a very interestingly placed book there, of course. Apparently, when he turned up, my grandma said, sure, just go to her room and wake her up, and waved him straight into my room and bed. Security isn't something, right? They're just being funny. The grandma's like clueless. Why would you do that? And then we get into a lot of stuff about Karen being hot, which I'm just gonna mosey my way through real quick. Yeah, we don't need to revisit that. Kambaro says that she was modeling a lot of what she did here after what an Araragi would do, and again, Araragi mirrors that back onto herself. You're giving yourself too little credit. You're pretty amazing yourself. Hey, Araragi, do you want to take these devil parts off my hand and maybe feed them to Shinobu? Sure. And then yeah, we see some Shinobu for a brief moment. We haven't seen Shinobu in ages, it seems like, so that's nice. And we just see him setting up the dominoes, which will be a important aspect of the scene later on. So okay, this made me think, right? What was Augie's plan here? Why did Augie want this to happen? Because in the past, we've seen her push certain characters certain ways, and we got a pretty, not concrete, but like a clear-ish image of what she was trying to do. Or he, in this arc, I should say. But this time, we didn't really see that, which is weird. So I'm wondering if the devil parts are important to all of this, that we now have the devil parts and we're going to, give them to someone or take them from someone or that side of it, right? They're seemingly the remnant left from what we had going on. I'm not. Maybe she just wanted Kombaro to have some character development. I don't know. It's strange. Because again, think about something like a Tori Monogatari. We saw a pretty concrete answer to why she was doing what she was doing, at least in the relatively near future. I wonder if we'll get something like that coming up. Oh yeah, and then we continue to go into the sister stuff, of course. If I was to have a wish, then I would wish for my little sister wasn't my little sister. Very cool. Least incestuous Monogatari moment. And then he thinks he's the thinker. Stepsister's a kind of a loophole in the law. Get this guy out of here, man. But it's nice that, okay, because he's able to like talk about these things, this side of his personality with Kombaro. So that's nice that that's coming through at least. Like he feels like it's old times again. This is all very important as well. Again, very kind of thesis statement of the arc. It doesn't matter what you wish for or if it comes true. What matters is you wished it. There's value in making the wish. There's value in human choice and unbroken recording at this point. They're doing a pretty good job of laying it on thick that this is the theme of the arc. Oh, and then the music comes in. That's quite nice. I didn't notice the music during the reaction itself, and that gets Kambaro thinking about maybe why the mother left her with the monkey's paw. There's value in making the wish. There's value in making your own choices and mistakes, however it may end up. There's value in holding on to the remnants of said mistake. There's value in bearing the cross of said mistakes. That is why your life makes sense. That is. Otherwise, you're nothing. You're plain old water, And then we're going to do a haircut, and it's a character development haircut. It's that I'm past this point in my life, and I'm going to need to change now haircut. She kind of even flinches when the first bit of hair comes off. Yeah, it's clear what they're doing here. Of course, the motivation here being that the long hair isn't as good for sports. She wants to shorten it up so she can kind of continue pursuing what she's clearly passionate about, right? And didn't want to continue with because of said arm, so she can actually go and do these things now. It's also part of Namachi not final wish for her, but just kind of her statement there that you get your head out of the books, get back onto the field, you're good at this, right? This is the third time I've cut a girl's hair. I don't remember the other two, but I'm also bad at this. I'm bad at remembering, so any enlightenment there would be nice. I do have my own hair salon or somewhere that I go, but I want you to cut it, again, because it's a symbolism. She also wants Araragi to give her a ride to Namachi grave. Part of me wants to continue Namachi work and find these other parts, but I doubt I ever will. But the process of trying to do so is also important, as I've said a million times by now. I've also noticed the music is playing kind of that leitmotif of the opening as well, which is a pretty classic move at this point. Yeah, they keep mentioning the devil. I'm feeling like it's important going forward. Yeah, kind of the reflection in the metal, the scissors, and then the flower, and then all that emphasis on the first bit of hair gone, right? I made the first step. If other people find out what you did here, Kambaro, they'll have a lot of thoughts for you and what they would have done in the situation or what you should have done in the situation or that kind of thing, right? But that's not what matters. No matter what anyone says, you don't have to worry. You didn't do the right thing, you didn't do the wrong thing, you did your thing. And in the process of doing all of that, you were being young. You're finding out about the world by making these decisions for yourself and not merely following what somebody said in a book. It's also interesting this coming from Araragi, who is noticeably wiser this arc, noticeably more adult in the eyes of Kambaru. So he can get away with saying lines like this, despite him being, what, a year older than Kambaru, so... Anyway, that brings us to the end of Hanamonogatari, of course. So what did I think about that overall? Yeah, better upon a rewatch. I got a lot more of the thematic stuff they were trying to do. I still feel like there's a big portion out of it that could have added some extra stuff with a few ideas that were kind of just placed out there and then not extrapolated upon IMO. But overall, yeah, good arc. I think it started better than it ended, in a way. I think it really peaked at episode 4. I don't know. It's kind of up and down. Production wise, it did get a little bit long in the tooth, a little bit too slow at certain points. I think it again picks up pace around episode 4, of course, but it's kind of just conversations. Again, a lot of Monogatari is just conversations, but there's not a lot of movement at all, right? At least contrasted with Koi, where Koi had kind of sassy conversations between Senjogahara and Kaiki, and then Kaiki was talking some facts with Ononoki, and then there was the kind of the drama to it all of if they're going to make it out of this alive, if he's going to be able to complete this task. I never really got much of that in this arc, right? There wasn't that level of stakes there for mine. But again, it's a lot more internal, of course. I've been through a lot of the themes already, so I won't repeat them here. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to love it. I thought this was going to be my most favoritist thing ever, and it was just lower than that, being pretty damn great. So we're going to leave it about there, I think. A good question, though, is what do I have next? Let me find out for you. Tsukimonogatari, it seems like. Yeah, and there's 4 episodes to that one. Okay, sure. Sure, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I will literally click on the wrong thing if not told otherwise. So it'd be good if I'm correct somewhat in what I'm watching next. Suki Monogatari, of course, it's Moon. Am I wrong there? But also there's a character called Tsukihi, so maybe that's going to come back into it as well. I don't know. I don't really know. That's all very predictive, and I think I'm just gonna shut down OBS and go think about what I've done and edit this video and upload it. So, chill stuff, I guess. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, request things on the Discord. I was going to try to do some more recording today for seasonal stuff, but maybe not. I'm feeling kind of bleh, but we'll see. That's a really random thing to end the video on, but adios. I'll see you guys next time, and keep watching Monogatari, baby, or whatever I say in these. I'm feeling weird today. Anyway, goodbye. Bye-bye.